hey, I'm going to teach you a valuable life skill that will help you not get fucked over by other people. So, you can believe in whatever school you want to philosophically. You can believe in determinism. You can believe in, there are more, honestly, the major philosophical schools that I'm familiar with are more theological in nature, Molinism and whatnot. And then you also have libertarian free will. I'm going to make the case as to why you should go ahead and just treat everyone like they have. Number one, libertarian free will. I'm going to explain that. Number two, that they are perfectly logical beings. And number three, that they are purposely, either through willful ignorance or through lying, not having or saying that they do not have information that they should have. So, libertarian free will. It just means that the free will, meaning choosing, and I'm going to need to explain that to you. So, libertarian free will. I wish there was another video I made before this, but it's okay. Well, no, I'm just going to go ahead and go into free will. So, what does that mean? Put your finger out. And there are people out here that don't know this, by the way, that this exists. They've never had the conscious thought, I can choose A or B. Put your finger out. Move it to the left. Well, okay. Move it to your left. Sorry. Move it to your left. Move it to your right. Move it up. Move it down. Now, choose to move it to the left or to the right. Now, choose to move that finger however you want for the rest of your life. Congratulations. I just unlocked your free will. Literally, if you're watching with someone, ask them if they're crying. Ask them, did you not know that you could do that? And again, it's not that they didn't make choices. It was just choosing something that was contrary to their primal nature was traumatizing to them. That's why they're crying. That's why they look like death. They didn't know that they had free will. Libertarian free will. Now, I'm going to get into that right now. So, first of all, free will. It exists in a vacuum. What does that mean? There is nothing causal onto free will. Now you have the conundrum, the oxymoron, the paradox of how can you have something move that does not have a force acting upon it? That's not even that. Again, I'm not familiar with physics, especially quantum physics. I feel like that they actually do have reasons for that as to how that can happen. And that's just getting into mathematical logic that I don't understand. I know a lot of people use quantum physics is a crush. There is legitimately mathematical logic, a logic that we're not familiar with. We're familiar with more standard logic, like that's used in debate in high school or what have you. You know, the straw man fallacy. We're not. This is mathematical logic, meaning 1 + 1 = 2, but way, 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 way more complicated. That can actually prove things like that. Like you can have something that is moved without a cause, because that actually isn't an intrinsic fallacy. An intrinsic fallacy is, hey, my hand is on the left and my hand is on the right. No, my hand is only on the left and my hand is only on the right, and it is also on the left and right. That is an intrinsic logical fallacy. Nothing can break that, whereas this moves my hand without a cause. Can't see the arm, right? That's not an intrinsic logical fallacy. That's just something you have to explain how that could happen, right? Something perpetually self-perpetuating in motion. So anyway, libertarian free will means you can choose anything you want, and it's totally dependent on you, and you are totally responsible for the consequences of those actions. Now, of course, I believe there's also demographic things that, like you have, like for example, it's not completely random, right? In this libertarian free will vacuum. I'm not necessarily saying that it would be that way, but you see clear demographic trends and demographic lines of choosing, right? Based on environment and biology. So, and again, the issue with, you would think, well, that's a contradictory statement. It is, because it's an oxymoron that needs to be philosophized out to be satisfying and helpful in the practical world. Also, people will take the not free will part, the more deterministic part, I will say, in a gradient of free will determinism, right? And although that's a perfectly acceptable position to have determinism, right? As long as practically you live out libertarian free will and view other people that way, that's fine. If not, then you're going to hurt society. There's studies to back that up. As long as you just don't just default to determinism, please. You can believe it, but just don't make it your default, please. Make free will, libertarian free will, your default. So anyway, libertarian free will. Yes, I'm coming back to what I was saying, thinking and saying. Yeah, you get to choose shit, anything you want, and you're totally responsible for it. Oh, sorry, and then I remember, then you have the deterministic aspect of that. Basically, what people do is they take the deterministic aspect and then they completely X off the free will part to where it's just more of some kind of like quasi-deterministic kind of thing. Whereas if you have free will as part of your philosophy of people interacting with the world from their conscious experiences through their means of interacting with reality, which is, our bodies and other things too, right? Probably. No, other things too. I'm still training myself to talk with objective truth because it's obvious that I could be wrong. It should be interwoven in our society whenever people speak. We shouldn't have to caveat in society, all right? And there are evil people to make it to where we have to, because there are evil people that legitimately believe that they're right on things and that they cannot be wrong on them. And that's why that's interwoven in our society to caveat, because we know those people are out there. We don't feel safe around them because they hurt us through living out that objective reality that they have that is based on non-truth. But anyway, again, if you have free will as a part of your overall philosophy, you need to believe the free will is free indeed. Libertarian free will needs to be part of every will philosophy, even if it is not a completely 100% libertarian free will philosophy and it's more of a gradient, right? And that doesn't make any fucking sense. But again, oxymoron brought into truth, right? So anyway, that's number one. You can choose shit. Let me tell you how to do that right now. I've done this before in one video. So hold out your hands. Left hand, right hand. What do I believe in objective truth? This is my right hand. Yes, I do. This brings that question to the surface whenever you have your hands like that, and it's very tactile. This is also why sacrificing was so common in ancient times. It was a solidifying of the will towards an idol of some kind. To be in league with it by a choice of sacrificing something that's valuable. Back then, killing animals wasn't a big deal based on their intrinsic value. It was based on just sacrificing something that was valuable, practically speaking. Capital being in those animals, which was a kind of wealth, was why they were sacrificing them. Sacrificing something valuable really solidifies your will towards something. I also believe that the will, as far as what you choose, is a gradient. You're just 100% responsible for it, and there's nothing causing it. And also demographic trends make it to where they're also potentially, they're also causal factors. And again, that's an oxymoron that you have to accept. And then it goes right here when you accept it, and you got to philosophize it out to where it makes sense. And there are deeper meanings and deeper definitions of all of these philosophical words and forms that make it not actually a contradiction. You have to think about it hard enough. Because again, I believe objective truth is obtainable. All objective truth, I believe, is obtainable. We can have objective truth on everything. That is what I believe. And then the other two, the second one is, I got a minute left. The second one is oh dear God, it was counterparts. No. Oh my God. We have the will. Oh yeah, people are perfectly logical. There's no real basis for mental illness in the sense of looking at trauma stored in the body is the only way you can prove that. So you should do that for people who claim they have a mental illness, because a lot of people fake it. That's why just assume people are perfectly logical, unless they have blunt force trauma in their brain. That's even they are logical, but it's their reality and their data that they get in is warped. It's not like they just aren't logical anymore. And then number three is if they should have the information, then they do have it, or they have just willfully chosen not to, which is almost just as bad in some situations. It is not just as bad, but it's almost just as bad. Those three things, and then the people that don't meet that, if it's safe, tell them to fuck off. And if not, then cut them out of your life. Thank you.